Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao. I'm here with an interesting topic today. Uh, Probably many can relate to this. The question is, do we have an organized mind or an unorganized mind? You know, so we will go into that and see the validity of it and how the life is with a organized mind and why we should understand this and strive for it and really see where the unorganized mind is leading us and what are the problems with it, right? So this is going to be more like an exploration, if you would, than just me giving a talk. So if more people come and talk about it, I'll extend the talk. Otherwise, it will be a brief talk. Okay. So whoever is here, if you want to explore with me and participate, I think we'll stay here for a longer time. Otherwise, probably we will close up early because I don't intend to give a lecture on that, but more like a exploring what kind of mind we have right now, and then see how can go from unorganized to organized mind. By the way, I am Dr. Rao Kulisu. For those people who don't know me, I am in Iowa, USA. I have been here for 40 some years practicing internal medicine doctor. And I was having a huge clinic, which I sold in 2019. Now I established an online consultation, online company. It's called DA PAL, where I combine both uh, modern medicine and ancient wisdom. And this talk is also based on Patanjali Yoga Sutras, how he showed us the structure of mind and what is desirable, how we can get it, and how we can go beyond it. This has become a very important topic for a lot of people because mind management is the first step before you go to deeper things of spirituality like self-inquiry, self-realization, and establishing yourself in the wisdom, and also going beyond it. See, all these are very important topics relevant to the mind of modern man. So that's why I thought I will discuss on this and present what this exploration into Patanjali Yoga Sutras has done to my own mind, and how I enjoy kind of quiet, peaceful mind, so to say, right? Actually, I'm not in the mind anymore, kind of. That may be weird, but it is organized and it goes towards positivity and don't get engaged in any negativity at all. Okay. So we were talking about somebody, my friend, who was here with me in another room. We were having a chat about. He was describing to me how his mind is, which is actually many people can relate to that because most of the people think that thinking is happening to them. Okay, so it comes by itself, it takes them over, and then they are pursuing that. That's kind of disorganized, unorganized mind. And most of the time, all the thoughts that are coming could be negative, and that's why a lot of stress, a lot of burnout, and a lot of not able to achieve what they want, and also not having harmonious relationship with their family, their societies, their countries, and the world in general, the planet, and all that. So it's a very important thing to understand what is a organized mind, and what is that we have right now is like a disorganized mind, because the fundamental thing is the function of a mind are much better when you have the thought under your control rather than thought dictating to you. Again, who is the controller? What is the control? All those come. But basically, in yoga, it is considered both body in the mind as the material things. Okay, so whatever thoughts you have uh, are also viewed as objects, so if you can have a practice where you are not taken in by the thoughts and driven by the thoughts, you are much better off. Okay, so meditation is recommended for this, where you can objectify your thoughts and be the witness consciousness, and then you will not be really making the thoughts rule you. That's what it is. So a disorganized mind allows the thoughts to happen by itself. Things that are compulsive, that are unconscious, they don't realize some of the unconscious thoughts are going back into their subconscious, coming back as some colors. So they kind of create their own habits, and with that habits, they create their own mind. So in a way, uh, modern science also now telling us, okay, your brain is plastic, and you can create your own brain material by changing your habitual, compulsive thoughts. So a disorganized mind will not know where the thoughts are coming in, how they are coming, and then they go by whichever thought comes to them, they think. But actually, they have this control of, first of all, slowing the thought, then really watching thoughts, and then identifying the negativity of thought if it is there, then reframing that thought. It's called pratipaksha bhavana, cognitive reframing. And then you can focus on one thought, and Patanjali Ushta teaches you this. You can be with one thought and go beyond that thought into much deeper conscious states of samadhi. And among samadhi, there are varieties of them. Okay, some pragnata, pravat, so many different states are there. I don't want to go into all of that, but now we are only talking about the mind, thoughts, and emotions that happen to us, and then we think they're all coming by themselves. That's why we're kind of helpless. So, a disorganized mind, by definition, continuous thought, impulsive thought, unconscious thought happening all the time, and has no clue of taking a rest from them or keeping a stop to those thoughts. And then as you go into deeper and deeper of that kind of scattered thought, vikshepa in Sanskrit, it's called vikshepa, where the mind status is all over. You think one thing, one other thing, when you have no focus, no concentration at all. And then you think that is a normal state, and then most of the things are, if you examine that, negative about something, and that negativity drags you, and makes you trouble with your own work, your own colleagues, your own family, and all of that. So, Patanjali Yoga Sutra is about the impressions that are there on the mind, that are coming from either from the external source or from your memory, understanding them, and then really allowing vrittis to be the same initially, and then getting rid of the vrittis and getting in touch with your real deeper being, or soul or consciousness, whatever you may call it. Once you are there, you can be watching the thoughts, and you can be really modifying them. So that is where the control comes, and in the process, you will have relief from the restless mind and the dull mind, right? Then you are really established in your real core, and from there you manage your instruments of mind and body for your spiritual growth. So that's what it is. Okay. So organized mind is desirable because it gives you stability, concentration, focus, and also peace and happiness. Whereas disorganized mind, it goes all over, and you don't have any control, and then you will have the consequences of that going all over. Okay, that is how this is described, and the process of yoga, so Patanjali Yoga Sutra says you have to have like a yama niyama, which are control towards the society. How do you live in society? And also niyamas are how you control within yourself. How do you take care of body, energies, and all that? Okay, 10 principles are there. Five yamas, five niyamas, and then you have the bodily asanas, and you have the breathing, and you withdraw the senses, and then you kind of concentrate and then focus on one thought and going beyond one thought, and then really having this disorganized mind in control. That's what it is, right? So once you understand that's all about the mind and what Patanjali is describing, it's amazing to discover the way he goes about it. But it's a very difficult science for a lot of people because they can't focus on one thing anymore. Modern society has become so many restrictions, so many things are happening. People are kind of not really focused, really always unfocused, always have no stability, always having no concentration. So things are going their own way. Because like if you take their mind, they cannot sit down and meditate. They cannot really control their mind. They cannot control their emotions. So impulsive behavior, all those things are happening because of that. So important thing is to understand the need to have an organized mind, and then also honestly look at ourselves. Do I have an organized mind, or do I have a disorganized? One way to look at it is see whether things are coming into your mind and then you are acting on that, or you are intentionally thinking. That means conscious thought. Are you thinking consciously? Are you thinking intentionally? This is what I want to do in my life. And then directing all the thoughts towards that. If that is happening, you are not having unwanted thoughts coming on, then you do have an organized mind. Otherwise, it goes into disorganized mind category. Okay, so that is what I wanted to present today. So anybody wants to come up and talk about it, you are welcome. Um, Otherwise, I will be leaving in a few minutes if nobody is interested to explore this. So I have made a video on this, which will be released soon, and that video will have some of these features. But then, important thing is to honestly explore ourselves. That means self-reflection, sitting down. So, some of the practical things here is uh, first make a habit of sitting in the morning and sitting in the evening for this purpose, like a 10-15 minutes of it. Uh, then you just deep breathe and control the flow of thought so that the thoughts will be slowed down. And then you kind of watch the thoughts and you be the witness consciousness, right? And then you focus on one thought and go beyond the thought. All these steps take a lot of time for people. At least have the habit of sitting down for self-contemplation and reflection. And then you will be able to see where is the status of your thought flow. Is it compulsively happening, or is it something that you want to understand where the whole thought mechanism is formed, how the thoughts become our own inborn ingredient, neurological paths, and they're coming by themselves. So it's all a question of conscious thought. So organize the mind like that. Understand your flow yourself. It's not according to somebody else. So just looking at yourself, what is happening. So that's why I'm saying this is not like a intellectual discussion or information. This is more like appealing to there is something called organized mind, and there are ways that ancients described, and look at them and understand them and explore them. And once you do that, you'll have first-hand experience of what is this doing to you, to your interior, to your sleep, to your relationships, to your psychological health, to your happiness, all those things. Actually, once the functional part of the mind is really understood and overcome and go beyond it, then you will be quiet mind with a sense of awareness. And that is where you want to end up. Once you are in the awareness and using the thought, then you won't have this restlessness, this waywardness, this scattered thought, all those will not be there. Then you have an organized mind and you will be clear, stable, and also really focused on what is your real goals are. And then you won't have this botheration that you need to be validated, you need to be approved, or all those things will not there, because the truth is within you. And then you, whatever the truth is yours, and you find out whether you have this scattered mind or unfocused mind, or really not able to sit down for a few minutes and be with one. Those kind of things, those kind of things will be very valuable to you, especially when you realize that you have this awareness apart from your function of the mind. Then you end up in that. Then you can see the thoughts clearly, you can identify the negativity, and you can change that negative to positive. So so many benefits of it. I don't think many people think on this level. They have books organized, they have house clothes organized, they have so many things organized, but they don't have a clue about organizing the mind. There was a story I just heard recently, and that story says about a German professor. He's very erudite, very knowledgeable person. He goes to this Zen master, right? And then he asks the Zen master, "I want to learn Zen, teach me." And Zen master immediately sees this man is full of information, full of thoughts, and he is overloaded with thoughts, right? He could perceive that right away. So he says, "Okay, sit down." And then he wants to serve some tea for the professor. So he brings in the empty cup and puts in a saucer and pours some tea and continues to pour, so that it comes out of the cup and into the saucer, out of the saucer onto the table. Then the person says, "Hey, what are you doing? This is you're really too much. You're pouring and it's spilling all over." Then he says, "Yeah, this is how your mind is, full of all these thoughts and information. How can you understand what is beyond thought if you don't empty your mind?" So it's more about emptying the mind rather than learning more information about it. So that's why I'm saying this is something you need to explore personally, and that way you can have this um, advantage of having an organized mind. Okay. Um, I am available for the direct messaging and also consultations too, if you wish. But otherwise, you have to do it by yourself. Only people can direct you to walk certain way, but then you got to walk. Actually, that is what you have to do. You have to turn inward. You have to take some time to reflect on this or contemplating on this, and you got to uh, watch the thoughts, slow the thoughts, and identify the negativities, and then really do. It's a very big deal for people even to sit down for a few minutes, saying that I want to self-reflect, I want to contemplate, I want to meditate. That is a big deal. So what happens when you slow down and you watch the thoughts? You got to be mindful of them, in the sense you are not going to judge, or you're going to applaud or anything. You just watch the thoughts without any judgment, without any analysis and all that. That is needed for everybody to look at. Instead of just carrying away with the thoughts, if you can really understand the negative, positive thoughts, and then don't want to speak about the negative thoughts, don't have to express negative thoughts, or don't have to leave the negative thoughts, then you will be really emptying the mind of the negativity, which is very good for you in the long run. Okay, so I hope you got that what I was talking about. Anybody wants to come up from the wisdom app? Yeah, that is what is needed to explore it uh, uh, into your own self. So if it's not like a ego thing. It's not a pride thing. It's more like a really transcending the ego this way, and then transcending the thought and making the thought your useful servant. Rather making it compulsive. Okay. Um, I hope you got you understood what I was talking about. I hope you will take some time in the morning, in the evening, and sit down in a corner where you are not going to get too many distractions. First, to start by sitting in a proper posture where your spine is erect, and then close your eyes, and then take a deep breath first. Focus the mind completely on the breath so that it won't go anywhere. And by deep breathing, it slows down. Once you have discovered the thought process has slowed down, then try to follow the content of the thought without any judgment. That's where the awareness comes. And once you are aware of the negative thoughts, try to either see the triviality of it or useless nature of it, or really not a fact of it. Even if something is negative with somebody, try to understand maybe they don't have the education to be positive about it, or they don't know anything better, right? So by you thinking about it, you are creating negativity within yourself. Once you understand that, then you say, how can I convert this negative thought into positivity? Once you are positive thoughts, then try to bring all the thoughts to one pointedness. One, you can use some shape or some picture or something you want, or one word you can say, whereby you will be focused on one thought. And once you are there in one thought, it won't happen right away. I'm just telling you the steps. It may be big deal just to sit down 2 times to make time for it, give the importance that it needs. It may be a big deal to just taking the deep breaths and just stay put there and making the thoughts come under your watch. And once you watch, it may be a big deal to accept that you are having all these negative thoughts. If you don't have it, fine, but if you have it, be honest about it. And then once you identify they are the negative thoughts, and then you want to actively reframe them into positivity. Okay, once you have that, then reduce the thought number of thoughts to almost to one. And once you are there, go beyond it, and there are so many things waiting for you there. Samadhi, which is different kinds of samadhis are there, but that is beyond the mind. So first you have to go beyond the functionalities of mind, and into what is beyond the functionality of mind is your awareness, sense of yourself, deep sense of yourself. Once you are there, automatically all these thoughts will stop. Okay. So at least try to start in the beginning, first understanding my mind is all over. My mind is constantly talking. If that's the case, it's not a crime or you did something wrong. It is so. You allowed the thought to go like that. So all I'm saying is there are situations, there are practices that you can do to correct that. Okay. But if you don't want to correct, you just want to go by that, you are welcome to it. But if you understand the uh, really how that uh, whole thing slows down, and that leads to greater awareness leads to greater happiness and peace. And once you taste that inner joy, inner happiness, inner peace, you will not come back from it. You will be longing to go for it. There are times in the day that are very conducive to this. Early morning, from 1.5 before sunrise, if you can start and do it for 40 minutes of practice, that will be very good. But if you are not used to that much, at least a few seconds, few minutes in the beginning would be okay. Only thing I advise is do that rather regularly, rather daily. Not weekly and all that. Daily, just coordinate with the sleep cycle. So before you go to sleep, after you wake up, if you can practice this deliberate attempt of calming the mind and breathing deep and sitting erect, that go a long way from the modern way of allowing the mind to go whatever it is. This way, you will have a resiliency within you, and you will not be dependent on any external things to help you control your thought, help you to sleep, help you to feel peaceful, get rid of anxiety, depression, all those things. So you can do all of them just by understanding this, um, understanding mind according to these great writings that were done, that were practiced for thousands of years, but not understood better. I'm a physician, so first I looked at with that perspective, but then I understood this is way bigger than just having a physical mental health. This is way about our human being, our essence, our elevated level of spirituality from just mere thinking and feeling bodies to really having this loving kindness within us for everybody and everything. All those things happen to you when you at least stop the thought process or go beyond all thought process into the awareness. So getting to the awareness, identify with awareness as the thought process. So remember, the functionality of the mind is not awareness. Awareness is beyond the functionality of the mind. So once you understand that, then you will be able to control the function of the mind much better control, much easy, and without any aid of the chemical agents. Okay, so that's why I'm very keen on not giving sleeping pills that easily to anybody, or move the person up unless they are organically ill and they are going to be hurting themselves if we don't help them, or they don't have the capacity to do that. I will, or they're used to the medication already. By me controlling it, they will get into more trouble, right? Then only I will use it. But this mind reflection, understanding the movement of thought, and controlling the movement of negativity to positivity, they're all something that we could do just like we take a shower. We got to take these practices every day. That's my sincere advice, but it's up to you. Who tastes the peace, who tastes the happiness, who tastes the tranquility and harmony, they won't go from it because it becomes part of the day. Now, after a while, it becomes you are meditative all the time. So that means your thought is not running and going around whichever you want, but you are directing the thought consciously towards your goals. And that's a very, very uh, good thing to have. And really, I hope you all strive for it and you all try to experiment with it, and you all really come up with a qualia, which is personal sense of self, right? That is the one you want to experience by your first hand scientific approach into your interior. Okay, so anybody wants to come up or is still hesitating to? So look for my video. I will be releasing it, and then is there much more descriptions are there. If you pay attention, you will have all these things. More beyond thought, the awareness aspect of sales. But basically, we want to be aware. We want to be a sense of our real self, sense of presence, sense of life here and now. That is what we want to be. And to do that, this chattering mind, this continuous self-talk mind, this all-over mind, all those things are features of unorganized mind. But once you understand, you have these thoughts. That means your awareness is having thoughts. You want to be in your awareness. Once you understand, you stay there. This chattering mind or monkey mind, what they call it, that will go away. And that itself is the peace. That itself is very happiness, and that itself is the uh, harmony and tranquility that we have capability to feel inside within ourselves. So, starting meditation is the first step, and then going beyond that is the last step. Okay, so try that. I hope you all experiment with it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye.